Modern smartphones with their ever higher quality cameras have practically killed off the compact digital camera. But instant film cameras have escaped the carnage. In fact, sales of both Polaroid and Fujifilm's instant cameras and film, the latter sold under the Instax brand, are booming. Instax film comes in 3 sizes, each requiring a specific type of camera. There's Instax Wide, there's Instax Mini, and Instax Square. This is the most recent, introduced in 2017, and perhaps because it mimics a traditional Polaroid, but smaller, it's shown the biggest growth in popularity. Sales are expected to increase by 30% this year alone. Now, this is Fujifilm's latest square camera, the SQ40. It shares its internals with the cheaper SQ1, but has a sort of classier, vaguely retro style case. Everything about the SQ40 is simple. The film comes in 10 exposures per pack, and to load, you simply open the back, match the yellow tab on the film with the one in the camera, and shut the door. To switch on, you twist the lens round to its first position, fire the shutter to remove the protective plate over the film, and you're ready to shoot anything from about 50 centimeters away from you to infinity. Now, twist further and you go to the selfie setting, which changes the focus to between 30 and 50 centimeters. More on that later. There's a counter to tell you how many shots you've got left, and a viewfinder. And to shoot, to fire away, simply press the shutter and the picture emerges in front of you. Takes about 90 seconds depending on the ambient temperature. This is just a point and shoot, and a pretty basic one at that. The focus is fixed, the lens aperture is fixed at f12.6. Now, there is automatic exposure, but that's also fairly limited. It's just the shutter speed varying, in this case from 1/400th of a second down to half a second. But there's no readout to tell you what shutter speed's been selected, and there isn't a tripod socket to help with stability on long exposures. Subtle lighting and delicate shades tend to pass Instax film by, so you're better off looking for bold patterns and colours. You've got to watch also for limited dynamic range. Highlights tend to bleach out, you don't get much detail in the shadows. Now, the flash fires whether you like it or not. You can't turn it off, which can be a problem with reflections, but it can also help invigorate an otherwise rather dull shot. All Instax films are rated at ISO 800, and superficially there appears to be quite a wide choice available, but in reality it's almost always the same film with a different coloured border. So the sunset film has sunsetty shades around the edge, the black film, pretty obviously, a black border. Cost is usually between £8 and £11 for a 10 exposure pack, which is fairly expensive, but not outrageously so. And power for the camera comes from 2 slightly non-mainstream and also slightly expensive CR2 batteries, which are good for 30 packs of film or about 300 exposures. One Instax film that is genuinely different is monochrome Instax, which is really black and white. I tried some out recently in London's brutalist Barbican, and it really suited the concrete location. The black and white pictures, I think, came out much better than the ones I took on the colour Instax film. Though the whole experience did reinforce the major gripe I have with this camera, which is the inaccuracy of the viewfinder. Basically, the shot you get is much wider than what you see, and even centering a subject is difficult. The problems occur on subjects that are a long way away, and as subjects get closer, the effect gets worse due to parallax. The lens, incidentally, is 65mm focal length, which gives you a sort of medium-wide perspective. Surprisingly, using the selfie mirror in front of the camera with the lens on the selfie setting is more confidence-inspiring. Here's a shot I took back on colour film. Seemed to work quite well. If you like the idea of the instant prints but want more control, Fuji do offer separate Instax printers, which can be fed with frames from your smartphone or digital camera. But maybe that's missing the whole point of instant photography. It's the lack of control and the lack of perfection that helps give Instax pictures such an appeal. They're a unique record of a moment that, unlike something digital, can't easily be replicated. People enjoy the fun and the simplicity of Instax photography, and if you're one of them, I think you'll love the SQ40.